Let's look at some of the allegations that have actually come out. And we begin with the issues of allowances. What have you found irregular with that? Because Chris Obore, the official explanation from Parliament is indeed that the Speaker's office and even commissioners and even you members of Parliament are entitled to allowances wherever you travel out of this country. So what is so bizarre about the allowances that were given to the Speaker?
Allowances are not the problem. But the problem is twofold, maybe threefold, as you will discover. Number one, the per diem of the Speaker of Parliament, whenever she travels out of the country, is $990 per day.
$990
per day. However, we are seeing figures which, when you compute, the Speaker was getting per diem of over $4,000 per day. That's a serious allegation, and we're saying it's got to be responded to. I did see Chris respond to it, and he was saying that, you see, the Speaker travels to the US and elsewhere. The Serena there costs $3,500 a night. I don't know how factual that is. But one, who did review the figures? Because these are not figures which somebody sits in the office and says, now I've changed this. You know, who sat to determine that this has got to change? 4 times more than 4 times more. That's a problem. Problem number one.
Isn't that a procurement issue?
Procurement issue?
Yes.
What do you mean procurement issue?
Parliament is dealing with a hotel which is outside the country, and
these are standards that are set. Per diem is a set standard. So somebody in procurement doesn't change it to say, I don't know what. It is a standard that is set based on all those factors, you know. That the Speaker gets $990 because of the stature of the office, that when this person goes to all those explanations, you know, that they have been giving around, that, you know, they should not be in a kafunda and that kind of thing. But now we are talking about $4,000 over. Where did that come from?
Okay.
That's a serious allegation that has got to be dealt with. But also, when you look at these documents, it's a period of about 5 months being away. The Speaker has never been away for that long. Even the time she got twins, 2 weeks later, she was back to presiding over. So when was the Speaker away for all this while? Within a period of 5 months, and she was away for all that time. The other possibility is that these trips didn't even happen, or a good number of them, but the money was claimed and paid. That's a serious issue. Number two, that you can be in 2 countries at the same time. You're in Kigali attending to the games, you're also in Nairobi and that kind of thing. It does not make proper sense, yeah?
Okay.
And we are saying we should not be quiet about these issues. Within a period of 146 days, she was paid per diem covering 164 days. How does that happen? It does not make sense, yeah? Of course, there's also per diem that was paid to the clerk, was also in 2 countries at some point at the same time, and so on. All these are issues that have got to be properly explained. The Speaker travels each time she does with the husband. There is official leave, days 30, by annual holiday 30, and all of that is catered for by the taxpayer. I don't know, because you see, our challenge is, anyway, maybe I'll get to that challenge.
No, actually, let me tell you the argument that has been put across. The Parliamentary Commission, where you sit, we have actually been told by law that governs Parliament, the Administration of Parliaments Act, that they have the authority to decide how the money can be spent as long as it is within the budget.
As long as?
It is within the budget. So Parliament has a budget and the money is available. So there's nothing wrong to spend it since it was approved by the Parliamentary Commission, which is the supreme body governing the institution.
So did Parliament pass a budget that reviews this per diem? Did Parliament pass a budget to say you can be in 2 countries at the same time? Did Parliament pass a budget to say, you know, within 146 days you can be paid for 164 days? This is abuse. Okay, these allegations are about abuse because the legalities are clear, and we can debate them. The legalities are clear, but this is sheer abuse, Kenneth, and it has got to be attended to. The other concerns that we do have regarding money, these community outreach, mobilization activities for the speaker, and this is money that has been regularly sent on accounts of staff members of parliament. There's one who received 2.4 billion shillings. That's an assistant director HR. There's another one, her principal protocol officer, 1.1 billion shillings. There's another, Mr. Chris Obore, 1.7 billion shillings, was also receiving money severally. There's a time he received 655 million on behalf of the speaker, corporate social responsibility in Teso sub-region, 250 million, 300 million, corporate social responsibilities in Kumi, and all of these. What exactly are these? That's why we are saying we need an explanation.
The speaker cannot move around carrying money in her pockets to go and implement some of these activities. So what you do, you give the money to an advanced team to actually go prepare the activities, and then they are implemented. And that's what happens with delegations. And that we want that proper accountability. The 1.7 billion that Chris received on his account for the speaker's activities, which activities exactly, and why are they costing that much? And never mind that in one particular part of the country. That's a different matter altogether. But these billions of shillings, can they be accounted for? What was this money exactly for? After the Kazinda incident, you covered that. I did.
Government released a standing order to say that for field activities, money to be deposited onto accounts of government employees should not exceed 5 million shillings. Remember, this is by the way, this is exactly what was happening with the Kazinda story. Exactly. So then they said 5 million as a max. That
during the Kazinda story, money would be deposited on people's accounts. They would go and withdraw it in cash and then take it somewhere. Probably take it back to Kazinda. That's used to be the scenario. Is that what you're saying?
Well, this money was withdrawn and taken to the speaker for these activities. And that's why we are saying, can we have a proper accountability for this money? These billions of shillings, what community activities are these exactly? Because when you say corporate social responsibility...
What evidence do you have that the money was actually taken to the speaker as a person and not implemented on the activities?
You see, this is captured in the system to say speaker's activity in local governments in Eastern Uganda, speaker's outreach activities in Eastern Uganda, corporate social responsibility for the speaker. That's how it is captured in the system as accountability. Who is the speaker? So the point is...
The speaker is an office.
Yeah, which is run by somebody. Individual. The office is not chairs and buildings. There is an office bearer who runs the office. So what we are saying is, can that office bearer be accountable? And by the way, people who, I've heard some people say, you guys don't like the speaker, or you don't like Mpuga, or whoever else. What does it matter whether somebody likes me or not? We are asking accountability issues, yeah? And they have got to be responded to. The other issue of concern, Kenneth, is recruitment. And by the way, a couple of these issues have also been captured in the Auditor General's report, now that you ask. It's just that people don't like to read. The Auditor General's report captures these things. Yeah. Financial impropriety, it's in the Auditor General's report. You look it up, it's available, and you can have access to it anyway. It's on their website.
I have looked at a couple of things there.
The other issue is staff recruitment, which is also flagged by the Auditor General to say that there's many identities that are not clear of staff. So we hear people are hired, relatives, friends, in-laws, outlaws, and that kind of thing, and they cannot be accounted for at the institution. And that was also captured in the Auditor General's report. How? I'm having an interesting challenge in the office of the leader of the opposition. Staffing. Each new leader nominates new people. When I came in, I said, no, those that have been there, let's renew their contracts. It's okay. I'm told they've been doing a good job. I don't have a problem. Whoever recommended them, if they've been doing a good job, that's okay. Let's renew their contracts. Their contracts run out, end of Jan. They refused to renew them. I had a meeting with the speaker and the clerk, and I said, I feel like I'm being frustrated. Why are these contracts not being renewed? Do you people not want me to work? Because tomorrow you'll be the same one saying I'm lazy if I don't produce work, alternative policy statements and so on. They're done by these people. And they both told me, you see, the wage bill ceiling was hit. There's no money. But how do you say there's no money and yet there's money spent on ridiculous things? How do you say there's no money but you're continuously recruiting people in very unclear circumstances, and they cannot be properly accounted for. That we hear some are on the payroll, but they work either at the Speaker's hospital, at the Speaker's school, and so on. And those are the unidentified staff, which are even captured by the Auditor General. We need an explanation about all of these different things. The other issues of concern, there's a contract which was awarded by the Parliamentary Commission to a radio station belonging, as we hear, to the Speaker of Parliament, called Mama Bukedia FM. They got a contract of 3.12 billion shillings. 3.12 billion to do parliament-related work. I don't know which work that is. And the people who signed as managers of this radio station are staff in the office of the Speaker of Parliament. Kenneth, we need to be serious
they're working
about
for Parliament.
Those are the explanations we want. Those are the demands we are making. Number one, how are these contracts awarded? Were procurement regulations followed? Because this is money from the consolidated fund. You've got to follow procurement regulations, highest bidder, and so on. What work exactly were they getting this contract for? 3.12 billion shillings. But also, that staff in the office of the Speaker are managers, and they're signing the contract as managers. No. This is not right. So all these heavy-sounding allegations have got to be responded to. The other issue is, of course, the wastages within the Parliamentary Commission, and this has been all over the media, that people can sit and they award themselves money. The problem with that is threefold. One, there are monies that are institutionalized, if you like. To say, you've been reporting at Parliament for a long time. Every so often, they will say, okay, we are revising the salary of members of Parliament, we are revising allowances, and so on. There will be an outcry in the public saying, but wait a minute, this money is too much. But at least legally it's covered. Never mind that there's a moral issue about the finances and that kind of thing. Yeah?
It's provided for.
But at least it's within, when a member of Parliament gets that money, they are not committing any offense. They don't have to return it like, in the past people would return 29 million given out in surreptitious ways and so on. This is money as salary and that kind of thing. But when you sit in a meeting and you say, okay, now me, I'll get 500 million, you 400, that you are awarding yourselves. But how exactly does that happen? What are you awarding yourselves for? Because in those minutes that we did see, you're saying, regardless of the length of tenure, they'd been in office for 1 year. They've been trying to explain it to say it's gratuity and all of that. Okay, can that happen at the end of your term? But 1 year, a few months down the road, you're awarding yourselves for what exactly? But also you're saying this is personal to hold. We did have a meeting with the Honorable Mpuga, because as NEP we said, for us, as a party, we will take this matter up. And I'm glad also I had the Deputy Secretary General of the NRM speaking out against this issue and saying this is wrong. Honorable Rosemary Namayanje. I'm hoping they'll also take action on their end. But in our engagement, we said, okay, so how does this happen? This is personal to holder and your names are stated therein. What happens, for example, to those that come after you? And he said, whoever comes after me gets to negotiate their own. And I said, I'm the one who said that meeting. I said, but now this is like deal cutting. And the example that I used in that very meeting, I told him, Honorable, so does that mean that now me, the new occupant, if I behave well, quote unquote, and I don't annoy whether it be the Speaker or whoever, that means I can negotiate for myself 2 billion shillings and it will be given to me. That's a problem. And I told him the challenge you have faced is, if this had been institutionalized, the quarrel about you people who sat in that meeting would be but you guys. All of this money. But at least legally you're covered, because you're saying, okay, going forward, every occupant of these different offices will have this award. You'd be covered legally. Morally, people would say, but wait a minute, all of that money? But now you see on both fronts there is a problem, both legally and morally, because it cannot become a deal-cutting issue. But also there's been dishonesty on that issue, because our colleague said that I've not even received this money yet. I'm waiting for the first installment. Chris Obore was on TV the other day, and he said they received this money, all of them plus the commissioners, and there's no apologies for that. We need to be honest as leaders. It's important.
My guest this evening, the Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, Leader of Opposition in Parliament. We are looking at the position of the Shadow Cabinet on the alleged abuse of public funds by Parliament. He has taken us through the number of issues that they reflected upon in a meeting today. So when we return, we will hear the final decision that has been taken. But he has also touched on the issue of the Honorable Matthias Mpuuga. Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi is also the spokesperson of the National Unity Platform Party. We'll be looking at what this matter is actually doing to that political party and whether the Honorable Mpuuga has indicated to them that indeed he's ready to actually leave the position of Commissioner of Parliament as demanded by the party in a letter we saw following a meeting on Monday. Stay tuned to Radio 1 FM 90. Spectrum continues after this break.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90.
Thank you so much for staying with us on Spectrum, live on Radio 1 FM 90. Today we are looking at the position of the Shadow Cabinet, which is headed by the Leader of Opposition in Parliament, on the alleged abuse of public funds by Parliament. And my guest is the Leader of Opposition himself, Joel Ssenyonyi, who also happens to be the MP for Nakawa West constituency, which is here in Kampala. Keep your comments coming via the WhatsApp line. I can see a number of comments already in, but I'll be opening a session for these comments to actually be responded to by the Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, who is continuing to share with us. So, Honorable, you sat in a meeting today, reflected on these issues the way you've actually narrated, and you took a position. So, what is the opposition going to be doing? What are you pushing for in light of this issue that has come up?
Three things. One, the Parliamentary Commission. From the time I joined the commission as LOP, there has been no meeting. Well, at least I've not been invited for one. If they have been meeting, I've not been invited.
So January,
February, we are now in March. The practice in the past has always been at least 2 meetings per month. I've not been invited for any. I don't know if they have been meeting. I have not been invited, yeah? And I've written to the Speaker today asking her to convene a commission meeting. So that, one, I also want to be kept in the loop to understand what exactly is going on. Because tomorrow, I don't want us to all be lumped up together and say, everyone that sits on the commission, these are things you pass and so on. Because you see, the commission is in charge. It runs the affairs, the financial affairs of Parliament. Now, all of these different things are happening. Is the commission aware? So we are saying, let that commission meeting sit so I can be present. And I also ask questions of accountability regarding all of these different issues. Number two, Parliament was adjourned sine-die last week on Tuesday. We're asking the Speaker to reconvene Parliament so that we discuss these issues. They're very critical issues. Ugandans are asking questions. We are the ones through whom they get to ask these questions. That's why they sent us as their representatives. That we get to discuss these critical issues. We cannot bury our heads in the sand and pretend that all is well.
You know the procedure of having Parliament recalled.
We don't even want to go that direction. We are urging the Speaker to, we don't want to go through the legalese of, normally when you are in recess, for example, and there's an urgent issue, you collect signatures, a third, and that kind of thing. We are appealing to the Speaker to say this matter is serious. It's also in your interest that it gets to be addressed. Number three, we are demanding that Parliament unequivocally responds to these matters, comes up with a proper statement, not these things of people appearing on radio talk shows and saying I don't know what, a proper statement explaining to the people of Uganda these issues, responding to these allegations, not dismissing them, but responding to them critically. Okay, because this money belongs to the people of Uganda. I had somebody, really shamelessly somewhere say that even somebody who does not have 1 million shillings for school fees for their children is talking about 500 million shillings for, a formal op. I said, but how insensitive can we be? And that's a politician saying that. Surely. This is money belonging to the people of Uganda. They have a right to know what's going on. So those are 3 demands that we have placed out there. We're hoping it happens within this week. Whether or not it happens, we shall reconvene and determine how to proceed. Because even when they respond, we'll see to determine is the response satisfactory or otherwise? And then we take it up from there.
All right. This matter has caused a lot of push here and there within your political party, the National Unity Platform Party. Some people say you have gotten an opportunity to skin the Honorable Matthias Mpuga and probably throw him away. That has always been your intention. I'm sure you've heard about those allegations. Well, they say, one, you didn't give him fair hearing. Two, you're pushing very fast. There's a letter that we saw, a meeting sat, the National Executive Committee, and told him to show in writing why he should not be removed from the position of commissioner.
Firstly,
are you being fair to Honorable Mpuga?
Firstly, we are going after everybody that has got question marks regarding accountability. Now we are going for the speaker. She's not a member of our party, but we are saying, as Speaker of Parliament, we respect you and your office. We respect you, Matthias Mpuga, Honorable, and the other commissioners, but respond to these accountability issues because this is taxpayers' money. All right? So that clearly shows you there's no specific individual. All right? Everybody who has got something to say, we are demanding that they say. Number two, fair hearing. I don't know what you mean by that, because we sat in a meeting of senior leaders and we put these questions to our elder brother. And he did accept and he did apologize. At some point, I had him dispute that he didn't accept, neither did he apologize. And then our deputy presidents who were in the meeting, they spoke out. I said, but why do you want to drag yourself through this, that you want to lie about something where there were people in the meeting and now they've begun to speak out, because our deputy president Northern, deputy president Eastern, Western, and so on, they were in the meeting and they spoke out. Honorable Namboze was in the meeting. Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi was in this meeting, and several other people. So why would we lie that he accepted and that he also apologized? Because he considered that what he did was not right. And we told him, it's unfortunate, maybe you were trapped, because now this is what it is. And we did ask him that the right thing to do, which will make you come off even better as a leader, make you come off bigger, is to say, you know what, let me take responsibility and resign. People do that elsewhere and they are looked at as incredible leaders.
So you wrote to him as he responded. You gave him 7 days.
The acting president has written also to address, and initially we told him we have sat here as senior leaders and other colleagues, the Mwanga Chivumbis, Namboze, and others, to say these are senior leaders, been with them for a while. We said we didn't even think at this point we should take this matter to NEC, because NEC has several other people, and we thought him as a senior leader at his level. We thought, let's not drag him through all of that. That's why we say let's first sit as elders and senior leaders in the party and deal with this issue, only for him to respond the way he did. So we said, okay, let's now throw it to NEC, which we initially didn't want. There are issues which you don't have to handle through the legalese, and so NEC has several other people. We said, let's not drag him through all of that. Let's sit with him as at least senior leaders together with him. But it's now being handled by NEC, and the acting president did write to him. I don't know if he has responded, but we'll wait and see. Again,
are you concerned about what this is likely to do to your political party?
What can it do?
Ahead of the 2026
What can it do? Because we are saying no.
We have seen what has happened in other political parties. We are seeing factions, and we are hearing people who are speaking from Masaka, where Honorable Mpuga comes from.
Have you heard about all the people who
they're saying
you can't? Masaka. I was in Masaka yesterday.
You can't touch their oil. Of course, you were in Masaka guarded, so
I was where the people are. But that's not important, really. What was meant to happen to me?
No, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that something was.
Because you're saying Masaka, but nobody could touch you. What was meant to happen? Anyway, but the important thing, Kenneth, certain hard decisions have got to be taken, and that's what leadership calls for. Okay, if this means losing some members, it's okay. What's wrong with doing the right thing if it has consequences? What's wrong with that? Because then people who are doing the wrong thing, it's because, or those who don't care about doing the right thing, the ramifications on the other end. Yeah. So if there are consequences for doing the right thing, that's okay. if we are going to lose some members because of taking action against financial impropriety, that's okay. Actually, if it means losing people who do not think there is a problem with abuse of office and financial impropriety and so on, there is no problem. We shall say goodbye to that category, so that we remain with those who take these matters seriously. You'd rather be few, but who are serious about certain things. We're not perfect. I'm seated here, and I'm not saying I'm a perfect man, yeah? But we must aspire to do the right thing on a daily basis.
And like you
so
said,
we are aspiring to do the right thing. If it comes with consequences, whatever those are. But from, the sampling we have done, people are happy that we are pushing back and speaking out and saying this is wrong regardless of who it is. But even if we do lose some, it's okay. And I'm speaking now as a spokesperson of NUP. We don't have a problem losing some members who are angry that we are speaking out against abuse of office and financial impropriety. That's okay.
Well, we have heard that some people actually saying that you should stop throwing stones because you are also in a glass house. Most of you in a NUP allegedly, you're not clean yourself. We have seen people who are demanding accountability apparently for money you receive as a political party from government. They're saying where does NUP put that money? They're saying your leader, Robert Kyagulanyi, receives money from abroad. There are people who have even said that you yourself, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, you are not clean while you were chairperson of COSASE. Well, I'm sure you've heard about this.
People will say too many things. And some who actually goofed up, they keep getting these bots that are on social media. Tell them, now you throw this. Talk about the Uganda Airlines report. Misinformed poor fellows. They don't know that the Uganda Airlines report, we did produce it. We got it signed. Scathing report. Anderson, you saw that report.
I saw it. Yeah, we had a discussion about it.
There you are. So, when the bots keep saying, you see, he didn't even produce the Uganda Airlines report and so on. We did produce the report. The speaker threw it out. It's on record. So those who are saying that...
the argument that is actually being put forward, why that report was thrown out, is because it was established that you people on that committee had solicited for money, and therefore...
and therefore, that's why we wrote a report asking for the sacking of Bamturaki and all the others. She paid us to write a report saying she should be sacked. Are you serious?
Well,
are you listening to yourself?
Depending on people who are actually influencing you.
So the reason the speaker gave on record was that this report has leaked, that's why it won't be tabled. I said, that's ridiculous. Where did you get that from in the rules? Besides, who leaked it? I said, Madam Speaker, I gave you a copy of the report. I gave a copy to the clerk, and they uploaded it on a parliamentary system which is accessed by all members. Anderson, you know that system, don't you?
I do.
So all members access it. So now, how do you say, Ssenyonyi, you report a report which is accessed by all members after it has been uploaded? But anyhow, even if it had been leaked, what rule says you cannot discuss it? In fact, the more reason to get it out of the way quickly and determine the issues therein. So that was ultra-vires. So anyway, people know who bungled up that report. We did our job. But the bottom line is, anyone that has evidence against anybody, whether it be myself, please do adduce it. And it's good people have been bringing out evidence, and that's why we are speaking out about issues that have got evidence attached to them, not just walala propaganda and that kind of thing. Those who are saying Kyagulanyi gets money from abroad, that's what you said, from abroad. Which abroad? How much and from who and for what? Adduce that evidence. Don't just speaking because, you want to speak about these issues. So the critical thing is no one is above reproach. Not myself, not anybody. So anybody that has any critical information, please bring it out. But don't use it as an excuse to say, hey, okay, I am corrupt, but even you're corrupt. That's not an excuse. You respond to the critical issues we are asking you about instead of saying, those who are throwing stones at me, they're also not clean and that kind of thing. Okay, if they're not clean, adduce the evidence about their uncleanness. But in the meantime, respond to the issues that are being raised against you.
Well, NUP has also been in the news making allegations about MPs receiving money. Last week, we also had another allegation which actually was also put across. MPs receiving 50 million shillings. They have also been telling you to actually step forward with the evidence. Even some of the people that have asked for that are your members.
We have had this for quite a bit of time. Anderson, you have been in that building for a bit of time. And you know a bit of what happens. Many under the table deals and so on. So we keep hearing many things. Money exchanging hands. We have said two things. Number one, that those who have some evidence, please do avail it. It will help us a great deal to take action. Because you see, the challenge with some of these things is there's no concrete evidence, because it doesn't go through a system like IFMIS. You see, these figures we do have, the ones I've been talking about, because they are captured in a system and that kind of thing. But these things that happen quietly, it is a bit convoluted. But whoever can avail some evidence, do avail it. It will help us to take action. So that then, tomorrow you say, we provided you with evidence. You did not, why didn't you take action or that kind of thing? But I've also been engaging with my colleagues and cautioning them to say, look, honorable colleagues, we need to be very careful, because if you're going to pick money from anywhere, they're setting a trap for you. How do you go to someone's home to pick money and you think there are no cameras recording you? Like, how ridiculous can you be? And I told them, look, you'll fall into a trap, because now we are beginning to push back and ask critical questions.
So you want
about,
them,
listen,
you
for
want
a
them
second.
to be smart?
No, I'm actually telling them the only money that you should be touching is money that is paid to you as salary and allowances. You running around to pick money from anywhere, it is actually a trap. So I'm telling them that whoever is giving you this money, they're also setting you up, because tomorrow, when there's a lot of pressure against them like there is now, they might come out with recordings to say, but you guys are coming after me, but you see, even your people, here is a recording. This one picked money here and that kind of thing. They will not want to, quote unquote, die alone. So it is a caution to our colleagues that please avoid money that is not for you. Because you see, and I know that as members of parliament, we have got many pressures. We build roads, we provide healthcare and all of these different things and so on. Limit yourself, do what you are able to. The challenge is when there's an absentee government, you become the government. But I told them it is not an exculpation at all for you to steal money simply because you're trying to help people in your constituency. How is that even a defense? It does not make sense at all.
We have some comments coming in from the WhatsApp line 0703-090-090. I'll very quickly read them out, and you'll be able to respond to them. Somebody writes and says, listening to this session of Spectrum today is painful, and I wonder if your questions are designed to be sarcastic or tragic. Having money in the budget does not automatically translate into blunted flaunting of basic financial management principles, or does it? That is Rona, who is listening in from Kampala. Well, Rona, there's a reason why those questions are sarcastic. You may not know them, but at least they derived answers from the Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi. Joel Ssenyonyi understands why I put this question to him the way I did.
Like Rona, I also find them sarcastic, but I'm here to respond nonetheless.
All right, we have a comment coming in. In January 2024, we hosted speakers of parliament at Munyonyo. The parliamentary committee, which you sit on as a member, decided that all police officers attached to parliament should be paid 50,000 as an allowance at the end of the summit. Few policemen got 50,000, but majority we missed. Be informed and do the necessary so that everybody gets an allowance. Don't mention my name. Well, this person is a police officer. Says the committee.
Maybe he thinks I'm still on Kosase.
That must be the parliamentary commission.
The parliamentary commission. And that's why I'm demanding.
It's the one that decides.
And that's why I'm demanding that the speaker convenes a meeting. I've not attended a single parliamentary commission meeting. If they have been happening, I've not been invited. So I've written to the speaker to say, I would, can we convene a parliamentary commission meeting? Where I am present, because I'm a full member of the commission as leader of the opposition.
All right. There are media reports that Honorable Kyagulanyi received information about the 500 million given to Honorable Mpuga, but he did nothing about it, only to come out after the parliament exhibition exposed it, and he claims to be hearing it for the first time. Is Honorable Kyagulanyi honest? How much more has come to his attention and he has kept quiet about it? That's a comment from Apollo K there. With that comment. Another comment, but all these politicians are just eating. That's another comment from another Ugandan. Another comment, thanks for the show. Your guest sadly has skeletons in his closet arising from the leadership of Kosase. How come he never resigned? Is it because they haven't come out?
What are the skeletons?
He's a Christian and he should know that God sees whatever happens, what he perceives to have been done in the dark. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Uganda Airlines investigations. Well, somebody actually thinks beyond the Uganda Airlines investigations, you have skeletons, and soon they'll come out to haunt you.
They shouldn't come out soon. They should come out now if they are there. So whoever that person is, and they know about any skeletons, me, I'm like an open book. You open and read, yeah? Bring them out. And I'm saying this with confidence because I know who I am. and how I operated within that committee. That's why I dare anybody to adduce any evidence. So if there are skeletons, don't say they will come out. Let them come out now.
You know, there's that saying that integrity is what you do when no one is saying.
Exactly. And like I've said, I'm not a perfect man, yeah? But I can dare anyone. They will not produce anything because there's nothing. So, yes, whoever thinks there are skeletons, please produce them. Don't just say it for the sake of saying it to excite you, or simply because you annoyed. I am now speaking about somebody you like or that kind of thing. And so you say, okay, let me also attack you. Even you have skeletons, bring them out.
Drakumani from Arua. Can I tell Honorable Joel that NUP to be safe, let them remove the notorious DPMPs who have grown horns. Their aim is to disorganize NUP so that it becomes like UPC and DP. The faster you remove them, the better for the party. Tell our LOP to stop calling people poor fellows. We pay tax and vote and fund all their payment. Somebody else was, additionally, NUP income and expenditure report shows outrageous amounts of money paid to Chagulanyi and his wife, as well as some of the top leaders. Can Honorable Ssenyonyi confirm if they have any more authority to comment on lack of morals? Another person, Johnson Kenene from Soronko. Honorable Ssenyonyi is a young politician compared to Mpuga. As you know, he has just been appointed a LOP, and he wants to show that he's the bull in the corral without fearing to lose Hence threatening Mpuga, thinking that he will work with FDC Katonga team, but you shall wait and see. Somebody else writes in, there is something called budgeting for corruption. How is the LOP and his team going to fight this? There are obscene amounts of money this parliament spends legally, but at the end of the day, put a dent in the coffers of a poor country like Uganda. That is Emma listening in from Namasuba. Joey reminds me of Mr. Mao, who ends in the same crowd. Talk, and nothing happens. That's Paul in Kampala. And then we have another comment. Spectrum, what do you think is the reason among cross to NRM is to access unlimited resources? Then we have another comment coming in from Mr. Chris Obore. A framework contract amount is not an amount paid to a radio station. It is the ceiling of a business for a contract period, but depends on whether actual business was given. We deal with so many radio contracts with nearly 100 radio stations. Framework contracts are designed by the Solicitor General, not Parliament. Well, Honorable, those are some of the comments that have come in from the listeners. As we come towards the end of this show, I would like you to respond to any that you have not, and also give your closing remarks.
Let me start with Chris, who, by the way, is a friend, even though now I'm his leader at Parliament. But we were in the trenches in journalism for a while. And again, I have nothing. He's got to speak for the institution and to clarify. In fact, one of the demands we are making is let's stop burdening Chris too much. Can the institution, can the office, can the leadership of Parliament do come out? Yeah, we are overburdening Chris. Some of the things he's explaining, he does not know exactly because he doesn't sit in the commission. So some of the things we are burdening him to explain are not for him to explain. Maybe what he can explain is the 1.7 billion shillings that went to his account for corporate social responsibility and so on. But there are many other things which the man might not have a response to. That's why we are saying Parliament leadership and the institution should come out very clearly. The contract that he's talking about, I wanted to hear him speak about the managers who signed, who are staff members in the office of the Speaker. How does that get to be? But also, where procurement regulations followed and so on. And these are things we want Parliament to come out. Okay, so now you see, even Chris is not denying the contract. Because people have been saying some of these things is propaganda. So he's not denying the contract. He's simply saying it's a framework contract and that kind of thing. Yes, it's a contract. He's saying the money is not paid at once and that kind of thing. Okay, be that as it may. But the contract sum is 3.12 billion shillings. He has not disputed that either. What I'm questioning is, number one, were procurement regulations followed for this particular radio to get the contract? Who else competed for this contract? Number two, the people who signed as managers of the radio station are staff members in the office of the Speaker. How does he explain that? Critical issues that need to be responded to. Somebody talked about payments to, by the party to Chagulanyi and his wife. We have been seeing that propaganda making rounds. We have clarified. Barbara Chagulanyi Itungo is not a signatory to any of the NUP accounts, as some people have alleged. She does not draw any salary or facilitation from NUP because she's not an official there and that kind of thing at all. But people will throw propaganda around, and it's okay. Maybe they think it helps them make their case.
In a few
Somebody
seconds.
said, I want to show that I'm working. Well, I'm doing my job. Anderson, the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda mandates me as
to do
leader of
what
the
you're
opposition to do what I'm doing, to keep the government in check. So
All right.
if it is talk, well, let me do my talking job. Let me speak out and ask accountability questions.
All right. We'll be following you closely to see how this issue will actually end and how far you will push. And remember, the public is also watching you to see how you deliver on your mandate as the people in charge of oversight in Parliament. That does it for Spectrum today. Thank you very much for joining us, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear listeners, for being part of this show and sharing your views with us. Up next, we have the news in English with Miss Josephine Dagano. Thereafter, we'll have the Soul Train with BB Jr.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90.
Brought to you by Housing Finance Bank, a financial institution regulated by Bank of Uganda. Housing Finance Bank, we make it easy.